The morning sun warmed Central Park as Maya settled on her usual bench. At 45 years old, her dark skin was weathered from months of sleeping outdoors. She pulled her thin jacket closer, even though the spring day was getting warmer. This bench had been her regular spot for almost a year now. Maya wasn't always homeless. Before everything fell apart, she taught 5th grade science at a school just 20 blocks away. But then came the budget cuts, her mother's expensive medical bills, and finally the eviction notice. Now the park was her home. Every day at exactly 10 a.m., Maya would take out the breadcrumbs she had saved from breakfast at the shelter. Feeding the birds gave her a sense of purpose. The pigeons recognized her now and would gather even before she opened her small paper bag. "At least someone is happy to see me," Maya whispered as she scattered crumbs on the pavement. The birds cooed and fluttered around her feet. She didn't notice the small boy watching her until he spoke. "Can I feed them too?" Maya looked up to see a young white boy with bright blue eyes and blonde hair that caught the sunlight. He couldn't be more than 6 years old. He wore clean clothes and new sneakers that lit up when he shifted his weight. "Where's your mom or dad?" Maya asked, looking around nervously. She knew how it looked when a homeless black woman talked to a rich white child in the park. "My nanny is over there." The boy pointed vaguely toward the playground. "She's busy on her phone." "I'm Ethan." Maya hesitated. She should tell him to go back to his nanny. People were always quick to assume the worst about someone who looked like her. But the hope in the boy's eyes reminded her of her students from before. "I'm Maya," she finally said. "And yes, you can feed them. But you have to be very gentle. Birds scare easily." She tore off a corner of her paper bag and poured some crumbs into it. Ethan took it carefully, his face serious with concentration. "Throw them gently," Maya instructed. "Not at the birds, but near them." Ethan followed her directions perfectly. His face lit up when several pigeons waddled toward his offering. "They like me," he exclaimed. "Of course they do," Maya smiled. "Animals can tell when someone has a kind heart." For 20 minutes, they fed the birds together. Maya taught Ethan how pigeons bob their heads when they walk and why their feathers shimmer with different colors in the sunlight. Ethan listened with wide eyes, asking questions that reminded Maya how much she missed teaching. "Do you know a lot about birds?" Ethan asked. "I used to be a science teacher," Maya explained. "I taught kids not much older than you." "Why did you stop?" The question was innocent, but it made Maya's chest tighten. How could she explain losing everything to a child who had never wanted for anything? "Sometimes life changes," she said simply, "but I still remember all my bird facts." Ethan nodded, accepting her answer without judgment. That was what Maya loved about children. They hadn't yet learned to look down on people like her. "My favorite color is blue," Ethan announced suddenly. "Like that bird there." "That's a blue jay," Maya pointed. "They're very smart birds." "My favorite color is purple." "Purple is nice too," Ethan agreed seriously. For a brief moment, Maya forgot she was homeless, forgot that people crossed the street to avoid her, that store owners watched her suspiciously, that cops woke her up whenever she dozed off on public benches. For just a moment, she was just a person sharing knowledge with a curious child. Then she heard the scream. "Ethan, get away from her." And just like that, Maya's brief moment of peace shattered completely. A young woman in expensive workout clothes ran toward them. Her face was red with anger and fear. This was Ethan's nanny, Jessica. She grabbed Ethan's arm and pulled him away from Maya. "What are you doing with him?" Jessica shouted at Maya. Her voice was so loud that people nearby stopped to watch. Maya stood up slowly, keeping her hands visible. She had learned this was the safest way to act when people were upset with her. "He just wanted to feed the birds," Maya explained calmly. "He told me you were nearby." "Liar," Jessica yelled. She turned to the growing crowd. "Someone call the police. This homeless woman tried to take this child." Maya felt her stomach drop. She had been careful for so long, never talking to children, even when they spoke to her first. always moving along when asked. But one moment of kindness might now cost her everything. Jessica, she didn't do anything bad, Ethan tried to explain. She was teaching me about birds. But Jessica wouldn't listen. She held Ethan tightly, as if Maya might snatch him away at any moment. People in the park pulled out their phones. Some called the police while others recorded everything. Maya heard their whispers. She probably wanted to kidnap him for money. These homeless people are getting dangerous. Poor little boy, he must be so scared. No one asked what really happened. No one wanted to hear Maya's side of the story. They had already decided she was guilty. An older woman handed Jessica a bottle of water. "Is the boy okay?" she asked, not even looking at Maya. "I think so," Jessica said, still glaring at Maya. "Thank God I saw them in time." Maya wanted to defend herself, but years on the street had taught her that her words didn't matter much to people like these. When you were homeless and black, people already made up their minds about you. Within minutes, 2 police officers arrived. One was tall with a serious face. The other was younger with a buzz cut. They approached cautiously, as if Maya might run or fight. "Ma'am, we received reports about an attempted kidnapping," the older officer said. His hand rested on his belt near his handcuffs. "Can I see some ID?" Maya shook her head slowly. "I don't have any ID. It was stolen at the shelter last month." The officer frowned. This made things worse, Maya knew. No ID meant she was nobody. Just another homeless person causing trouble. "She tried to take this boy," Jessica told the officers. She was calmer now that the police were there. "I only turned away for a minute to answer an important call, and she lured him over." "That's not true," Maya said. Her voice was steady, even though her heart was racing. "The boy came to me. We were just feeding birds." The younger officer knelt down to talk to Ethan. "Hey buddy, can you tell me what happened?" Before Ethan could answer, Jessica jumped in. "He's only 6. He's confused and scared." The older officer turned back to Maya. "Ma'am, please put your hands behind your back." "Please," Maya said. "Just ask the boy what happened." But the officer was already reaching for his handcuffs. Maya felt tears building in her eyes. One mistake, one moment of kindness, and she was about to be arrested. Who would believe her word against Jessica's? The crowd had grown larger. Some people looked concerned, but most seemed satisfied to see the police handling the dangerous homeless woman. Maya closed her eyes. She thought about how her students would feel if they saw her now. What would they think, seeing their teacher in handcuffs? The shame burned worse than the fear. "Stop," Ethan yelled suddenly. "She's my friend. She didn't do anything wrong." Everyone turned to look at the small boy who was now pulling away from Jessica's grip. And that's when they heard the roar of an engine. A shiny black car pulled up to the curb beside the park. It was unlike any car Maya had ever seen before. Low to the ground and sleek like a rocket. The door opened upward like a wing, and a tall man in a perfect suit stepped out. The crowd fell silent. The man who stepped out of the Lamborghini was tall with dark hair and a serious face. He wore a suit that probably cost more than Maya had ever made in a month as a teacher. Everyone watched as he walked toward the crowd. "Dad," Ethan yelled. He broke free from Jessica's grip and ran to the man. The man was James Richardson, one of the most successful lawyers in the city. He picked up his son and held him close. "What's going on here?" James asked. His voice was calm but powerful, the kind of voice people listen to. Jessica rushed over. "Mr. Richardson, I'm so glad you're here. This homeless woman tried to kidnap Ethan. I caught her just in time." James looked at Maya, then at the police officers who were about to handcuff her. "Is this true?" Before the officers could answer, Ethan spoke up. "No, Dad. Maya didn't do anything wrong. I wanted to feed the birds with her. She was telling me cool facts about them." James put his son down and knelt to look him in the eyes. "Are you sure, Ethan? Tell me exactly what happened." The crowd was silent now. Everyone watched as the little boy spoke to his father. I saw her feeding birds, and I wanted to try too, Ethan explained. Jessica was on her phone, so I went over by myself. Maya was really nice. She used to be a teacher. She knows everything about birds. James stood up and turned to Jessica. You were on your phone instead of watching my son. Jessica's face turned red. I just checked one message. It was important. Nothing is more important than my son's safety, James said firmly. That's what I pay you for. The older police officer stepped forward. Sir, we received reports of an attempted kidnapping. James raised an eyebrow. Based on what evidence? My son just told you what really happened. Well, sir, the officer looked uncomfortable now. The woman has no ID, and multiple witnesses reported. Multiple witnesses who didn't see what happened, James interrupted. Only my son and this woman know the truth. He turned to Maya. What's your name? Maya Johnson, she answered quietly. She couldn't believe what was happening. A few minutes ago, she was about to be arrested. Now the father of the boy was actually listening to her. Ms. Johnson, did you approach my son or did he approach you? He came to me, sir. I was just feeding the birds. I would never harm a child. James nodded and turned back to the officers. I believe there's been a misunderstanding. My son approached Ms. Johnson, not the other way around. The officers looked at each other. They knew who James Richardson was. His law firm handled cases for half the police department. Of course, Mr. Richardson, the older officer said. He put his handcuffs away. We were just responding to the call. James turned to the crowd. Show's over, folks. Time to move on. People began to walk away, some looking disappointed that there wouldn't be an arrest. Some took final pictures of Maya and James before leaving. Jessica stood awkwardly to the side. Mr. Richardson, about today. We'll discuss this later. James cut her off. Please take the car and go home. I'll bring Ethan with me when I'm done here. Jessica looked like she wanted to argue but thought better of it. She took the keys James handed her and walked to the Lamborghini. When almost everyone was gone, Maya found her voice. Thank you, she said to James. No one would have believed me without you and your son. James smiled for the first time. I'm a lawyer. Finding the truth is my job. He looked at Maya more carefully. Ethan said you were a teacher. Maya nodded. 5th grade science. For 15 years. What happened? James asked. Maya hesitated. She wasn't used to people caring about her story. You don't have to tell me, James added quickly. I'm just curious. Maya looked at Ethan, who was now chasing pigeons a few feet away. She decided to tell the truth. Budget cuts at my school, she explained. Then my mother got sick. Cancer. The medical bills took everything I had. When she died, I couldn't keep up with rent. One thing led to another, and she gestured to the bench that had been her home. James listened without interrupting, without judging. It had been a long time since anyone had done that for Maya. How long have you been homeless? James asked. His eyes were kind, not filled with the pity or disgust Maya usually saw. Almost a year now, Maya answered. She didn't know why she was telling him all this. Maybe because he was actually listening. Ethan ran back to them. Dad, can Maya come have lunch with us? Please. Maya quickly shook her head. Oh no, I couldn't. That's a great idea, James said, surprising both Maya and himself. We were about to get pizza. Would you join us, Ms. Johnson? It's the least I can do after what happened. Maya looked down at her worn clothes. She hadn't had a proper shower in days. I'm not really dressed for a restaurant. We can get takeout and eat in the park, James suggested. Ethan loves picnics, don't you, buddy? Ethan nodded eagerly. Yes, and Maya can tell us more bird facts. Half an hour later, they sat on a clean blanket James had taken from his office nearby. They ate pizza straight from the box, while Ethan asked Maya question after question about birds, bugs, and all sorts of animals. You're really good with kids, James noted as Ethan ran off to throw away their trash. I miss teaching, Maya admitted. Working with children was the best part of my day. James seemed to be thinking deeply. Actually, I might be able to help with that. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a business card. I run a foundation that recently opened an educational center for underprivileged children. We provide free after-school programs in science, art, and math. Maya took the card carefully. It read Richardson Foundation in shiny gold letters. We're looking for teachers, James continued, especially ones with experience teaching science. Maya stared at the card, then at James. Are you offering me a job? I'm offering you an interview, James clarified. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. The address is on the card. Maya's hand trembled. I can't come like this. She gestured to her clothes again. And I don't have a phone for them to call me. James thought for a moment. Then he took out his wallet and handed Maya some cash. Get yourself some clean clothes and whatever else you need for the interview. There's a motel 3 blocks from the foundation. I'll book you a room for tonight. Maya shook her head. I can't take your money. Consider it an advance on your first paycheck, James said. You don't even know if I'll get the job. James smiled. I'm on the hiring committee, and I've seen how you are with children. Just show up tomorrow and be yourself. Ethan came running back. Can Maya come play with us again tomorrow? Maya has an important meeting tomorrow, James told his son. But maybe she can visit you after that, if she wants to. For the first time in months, Maya felt something she had almost forgotten. Hope. She looked at the business card again, hardly believing what was happening. Why are you helping me? She finally asked James when Ethan was distracted by a squirrel. James was quiet for a moment. 10 years ago, before I made partner at my law firm, I lost everything in a house fire. No insurance. I slept in my car for 2 months. Most people didn't know because I kept wearing the same suit and used the gym to shower. He looked at Maya. One person helped me when I needed it. Now I help others when I can. Maya felt tears in her eyes, but blinked them away. Thank you. That evening, Maya stayed in a real motel room for the first time in 11 months. She showered for nearly an hour, washing away a year of hardship. She washed her clothes in the sink and hung them to dry. In the morning, she used the money James had given her to buy a simple black dress and flat shoes from a nearby store. She looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. As she walked toward the Richardson Foundation building, Maya felt nervous but also determined. This was her chance to get her life back, and she wasn't going to waste it. She arrived 10 minutes early and took a deep breath before opening the door. Inside, a friendly receptionist greeted her. Good morning. How can I help you? My name is Maya Johnson. I have an interview at 10 a.m. The receptionist smiled. Yes, Ms. Johnson. Mr. Richardson is expecting you. Please follow me. The interview room had a large round table where 3 people sat waiting. James was there, along with 2 women. One was older with silver hair, and the other was young with bright red glasses. Ms. Johnson, welcome, James said, standing to greet her. This is Dr. Patricia Chen, our education director, and Ms. Alicia Washington, our head teacher. Maya shook hands with everyone, trying to stay calm. This was her first job interview in years. Please, have a seat, Dr. Chen said kindly. James told us about your background in education. For the next hour, they asked Maya questions about her teaching experience, her approach to science education, and how she would handle different classroom situations. Maya answered honestly, drawing from her 15 years of teaching. What do you think is the most important thing when teaching science to young children? Ms. Washington asked. Maya thought for a moment. Making it real for them. Science isn't just in textbooks. It's in the birds at the park, the way water freezes in winter, the reason leaves change color. When children can touch, see, and experience science, they never forget it. Dr. Chen and Ms. Washington exchanged looks. They seemed impressed. One last question, Dr. Chen said. Our students come from difficult backgrounds. Many have experienced homelessness, poverty, or family problems. How would you connect with these children? Maya took a deep breath. It was time to be completely honest. Until yesterday, I was homeless, she said. The room was silent. I know what it's like to lose everything, to be judged by how you look or where you sleep. But I also know that education can change lives because it changed mine once. I want to be the teacher who helps these children see beyond their current circumstances. Dr. Chen nodded slowly. Thank you for your honesty, Ms. Johnson. We'll need to verify your teaching credentials, Ms. Washington added. Do you have your license number? Maya remembered her teacher ID number and wrote it down for them. After a few more questions, the interview was over. We'll be in touch, Dr. Chen said as they shook hands again. Outside the interview room, James stopped Maya. That went well, he said with a smile. Really? I was so nervous, Maya admitted. I could tell, James laughed. But you were also genuine. That matters more than perfect answers. What happens now? Maya asked. We have a few more interviews today, James explained. But I'm confident about your chances. Do you have somewhere to stay tonight? Maya thought about going back to her bench in the park, but she still had some of the money James had given her. I can stay at the motel one more night. Good. I'll call you there when we make our decision, James promised. That evening, Maya sat on the motel bed, too anxious to sleep. After everything that had happened, could she really get this job? Would her life finally turn around? The phone in her room rang, making her jump. It was only 7 p.m. Too early for a decision, surely. Hello, she answered nervously. Ms. Johnson, this is Patricia Chen from the Richardson Foundation. Maya's heart raced. Yes, Dr. Chen. We've reviewed all our candidates and checked your credentials, Dr. Chen said. Her voice gave nothing away. Your teaching record is excellent. The principal at your former school spoke very highly of you. Maya hadn't expected them to call her old school. Thank you. We'd like to offer you the position, Dr. Chen continued. Full-time science teacher for our after-school program. The salary is $55,000 per year with health benefits and housing assistance for the first 6 months. Maya couldn't speak. Tears ran down her face. Ms. Johnson, are you there? Dr. Chen asked. Yes, Maya finally managed to say. Yes, I accept. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Can you start Monday? That gives you the weekend to get settled. Monday is perfect, Maya said, wiping her tears. After the call ended, Maya sat in shocked silence. Just 2 days ago, she had been feeding birds on a park bench with no hope for the future. Now she had a job, a salary, and even help with housing. All because a little boy wanted to feed birds with her. The phone rang again. This time, it was James. Congratulations, he said when she answered. I just heard from Patricia. Thank you, Maya said, for everything. I don't know how to repay you. Be a great teacher, James replied. That's all the repayment I need. There was a pause. Then James spoke again. Ethan wants to know if you'll come to his birthday party next weekend. Maya smiled. I'd be honored. For the first time in a very long time, Maya fell asleep with a smile on her face. Tomorrow would be better than yesterday. And that was everything. Monday morning came quickly. Maya stood outside the Richardson Foundation Educational Center, wearing a new blue blouse and black pants she had bought with her advance. She had spent the weekend in the motel, preparing lesson plans and reading about the latest teaching methods. The center was in a renovated warehouse. Inside, colorful murals covered the walls. Classrooms lined both sides of a wide hallway. Each room had large windows and new desks. Alicia Washington greeted Maya at the door. Welcome to your first day, Ms. Johnson. Let me show you around. Maya's classroom was painted sky blue with science posters on the walls. It had microscopes, plants, and even a small fish tank. This is all mine. Maya asked in wonder. All yours, Alicia confirmed. We have 20 students in the science program, ages 8 to 12. They come after regular school, from 3:30 to 5:30. As they continued the tour, Maya met other teachers. All of them were friendly and welcoming. One more thing, Alicia said as they returned to Maya's classroom. James arranged temporary housing for you. It's an apartment just 2 blocks from here, owned by the foundation. You can stay there for up to 6 months while you get back on your feet. Maya was overwhelmed by such generosity. I don't know what to say. James believes in second chances, Alicia explained. Many of us working here have our own comeback stories. At 3:15, Maya stood nervously at her classroom door as students began to arrive. They were curious about their new teacher. Are you really a scientist? Asked a small girl with braided hair. I am, Maya smiled. My name is Ms. Johnson. What's yours? Tiana, the girl answered shyly. Soon all 20 students were in their seats, watching Maya with interested eyes. Some looked tired, others seemed anxious. Maya recognized these looks. These were children who had seen too much, too young. Today, Maya began, we're going to learn about birds. For the next 2 hours, Maya taught with more passion than she had felt in years. She showed pictures of different birds, explained how they fly, and even brought out feathers for the children to touch. The students were captivated. They asked questions, shared stories about birds they had seen, and begged to learn more. When class ended, Maya felt exhausted but happy. This was where she belonged, in a classroom, teaching children who wanted to learn. As the last student left, James appeared at her door. How was your first day? Amazing, Maya answered honestly. The children are wonderful. James smiled. I knew you'd be perfect for this job. For the next month, Maya settled into her new life. Her apartment was small but clean and bright. Each day, she walked to work with a spring in her step. Her students adored her, especially her nature walks around the neighborhood, where they identified birds, insects, and plants. On a warm Saturday, Maya took a taxi to James's home for Ethan's birthday party. She felt nervous as the car pulled up to the large house. This was a different world from the one she knew. The house was beautiful, with a big yard where children played. Ethan spotted her immediately. Maya, he shouted, running to hug her. You came. Of course I did, Maya laughed. Happy birthday. She handed him a small gift, wrapped in blue paper. Inside was a book about birds of North America that she had found at a used bookstore. Ethan's eyes widened when he opened it. This is awesome. Dad, look. James joined them, smiling at his son's excitement. Hello, Maya. Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me, Maya said. The party was fun, with games, cake, and lots of laughter. Maya met James's family and friends. Most were kind, though a few seemed surprised by her presence. Later, as children played in the yard, Maya sat on the porch with a piece of cake. James came to join her. My mother wants to know who you are, he said with a small smile. She says I never invite teachers to family parties. Maya blushed. What did you tell her? That you're a friend who happens to be a teacher, James answered. He hesitated, then added, I hope that's true. That we're friends. Maya thought about everything that had happened, from that moment in the park to now. Yes, she said, we're friends. They sat in comfortable silence, watching Ethan show his new bird book to his friends. He talks about you all the time, James said. Bird facts have become very important in our house. Maya laughed. He's a special kid. Yes, he is, James agreed. Thanks to you, he's also becoming quite the little scientist. As the sun began to set, the party wound down. Parents collected their children, thanking James for the invitation. Maya prepared to leave as well. I should get going. Thank you again for having me. Let me drive you home, James offered. Before Maya could answer, Ethan ran up to them. Can Maya come to dinner tomorrow? Please, Dad. James looked at Maya. Would you like to join us for Sunday dinner? Maya smiled. I'd like that very much. As James drove her home in his less flashy everyday car, Maya watched the city pass by outside her window. 1 month ago, she had been homeless, hopeless, with nothing but a park bench to call her own. Now she had a job, a home, students who loved her, and friends who cared. Sometimes life changed in an instant. Sometimes all it took was one person believing in you. Hashtag homeless black woman accused of kidnapping a white boy. Until a Lamborghini pulled up. 3 months passed quickly. Maya's science program became the most popular at the center. Parents requested their children be placed in her class. Even the local newspaper wrote a story about her innovative teaching methods. One evening after class, Dr. Chen called Maya to her office. I have some news, Dr. Chen said when Maya sat down. The city school district superintendent visited last week. She was very impressed with your work. Maya nodded, not sure where this was leading. She wants to offer you a position, Dr. Chen continued, teaching 5th grade science at Lincoln Elementary. Maya's heart skipped a beat. Lincoln Elementary was one of the best schools in the city. Are you serious? Very serious, Dr. Chen smiled. The job starts next school year. Full benefits, tenure track, and a higher salary than we can offer here. Maya didn't know what to say. Teaching at Lincoln would be a dream come true. But she loved the foundation and the children she worked with. It's a wonderful opportunity, Dr. Chen said, seeing Maya's mixed feelings. But we would miss you terribly. Can I think about it? Maya asked. Of course. The superintendent needs your answer by next Friday. Maya walked home slowly that evening, her mind racing. A position at Lincoln would secure her future. But the foundation had given her a second chance when no one else would. When she reached her apartment, Maya found James waiting outside her door. Dr. Chen told me about the offer, he said. Congratulations. I haven't decided yet, Maya admitted, unlocking her door and inviting him in. James followed her inside. It's a great opportunity. Lincoln is an excellent school. Maya made tea while James sat at her small kitchen table. The foundation gave me everything, she said. I feel like I'd be abandoning you all. You wouldn't be, James assured her. We always knew you were too talented to stay forever. Our mission is to help people rebuild their lives. You've done that beautifully. Maya handed him a cup of tea and sat down. What about my students? They'll miss you, James said honestly. But think of all the new students you'll reach at Lincoln. They talked for hours about the decision. By the time James left, Maya was leaning toward accepting the position. Whatever you decide, James said at the door, I'm proud of you. Maya blushed. Thank you. For everything. Over the next few days, Maya thought carefully about her options. On Friday morning, she made her decision. She would accept the position at Lincoln Elementary, but continue volunteering at the foundation on weekends. As she walked to work to tell Dr. Chen her decision, Maya felt good about her choice. She would never forget what the foundation had done for her, but it was time to move forward. Suddenly, a familiar voice called her name. Ms. Johnson. Maya turned to see Jessica, Ethan's former nanny, walking toward her. Maya hadn't seen her since that day in the park. Can I talk to you? Jessica asked. She looked nervous. Maya nodded, curious but cautious. I wanted to apologize, Jessica said, for what happened that day with Ethan. I jumped to conclusions and almost got you arrested. Maya was surprised. Thank you for saying that. I was fired right after, Jessica continued. I deserved it. I wasn't watching Ethan properly. I'm sorry you lost your job, Maya said sincerely. Jessica shook her head. Don't be. It made me realize I wasn't taking my responsibility seriously. I'm studying to be a preschool teacher now. I want to work with kids the right way. Maya smiled. That's wonderful. I saw the article about you in the newspaper, Jessica added. You're doing amazing things at that center. Thank you. Maya said. That means a lot. As Jessica walked away, Maya felt a weight lift from her shoulders. Even that difficult day in the park had led to positive change. At the foundation, Maya told Dr. Chen her decision. Dr. Chen was supportive and even offered to host a celebration for Maya's new position. You'll always have a place here, Dr. Chen promised. Our doors are always open to you. That afternoon, Maya taught her class with extra enthusiasm. She didn't tell the students about her new job yet. There would be time for that later. After class, she called the superintendent to formally accept the position at Lincoln Elementary. We're thrilled to have you joining us, the superintendent said. Your experience and passion for teaching are exactly what we're looking for. When the call ended, Maya sat at her desk, amazed at how far she had come. From a park bench to a prestigious teaching position in just a few months. She was so lost in thought that she didn't hear James enter her classroom. From your smile, I'm guessing you accepted the job, he asked. Maya nodded. Yes, but I'll still volunteer here on weekends. We'd love that, James said. Ethan will be especially happy. He misses his bird lessons. Maya laughed. How is he? Great. He asks about you all the time. James paused. Actually, that's why I'm here. He wanted me to invite you to dinner tonight, to celebrate your new job. I'd love to come, Maya said with a warm smile. As they walked out together, Maya looked around the center that had given her a second chance. She would miss working here every day. But this wasn't an ending. It was another beginning. 1 year later, Maya stood in her classroom at Lincoln Elementary, pinning student projects to the bulletin board. Her fifth graders had created amazing work about the water cycle. The classroom door opened, and Principal Davis walked in. Getting ready for open house tonight? She asked with a smile. Almost finished, Maya replied, straightening a colorful poster. The parents are going to be impressed, Principal Davis said. Your students have the highest science scores in the district. Maya felt a surge of pride. Her first year at Lincoln had been challenging but rewarding. She had worked hard to make science exciting for her students. By the way, Principal Davis added, the school board approved your proposal for the summer science camp. Congratulations. That's fantastic, Maya exclaimed. The science camp had been her dream project. It would give students from all over the city a chance to experience hands-on science activities. After the principal left, Maya sat at her desk and opened her planner. She had a full schedule today, teaching, the open house tonight, and then dinner with James and Ethan. Over the past year, she had become a regular guest at their home. Ethan, now 7, still loved birds and science. And James, well, their friendship had grown into something more. Maya smiled as she thought about how much her life had changed. She now lived in a lovely apartment that she had decorated herself. She had friends, colleagues who respected her, and students who adored her. And she still volunteered at the Richardson Foundation every Saturday, teaching a special science class for the children there. That evening, parents and students filled the school halls for the open house. Maya greeted each family warmly, showing them their children's work. Near the end of the evening, she was surprised to see a group of her former students from the foundation arrive with their parents. Ms. Johnson, they called, rushing to hug her. We came to see your new school. Maya introduced them to her Lincoln students, who proudly showed off their projects. It warmed her heart to see the children from different backgrounds getting along so well. After the open house, Maya drove to James's house for dinner. She had her own car now, a small blue sedan that she had purchased with her savings. Ethan met her at the door with a big hug. Maya, I got an A on my science project. That's wonderful, Maya said. What was your project about? Bird migration, Ethan announced proudly. I even used your bird book for research. Inside, James was setting the table. He greeted Maya with a kiss on the cheek. How was the open house? Amazing, Maya said. And guess what? The school board approved my summer science camp. That calls for a celebration, James said, opening a bottle of sparkling cider, to the best science teacher in the city. After dinner, while Ethan was getting ready for bed, James and Maya sat in the living room. "I have something to show you," James said, handing Maya a large envelope. Inside was a brochure for a new building project. The cover showed a modern building with the words Johnson Richardson Science Center above the entrance. Maya looked at James in confusion. "What is this?" "The foundation is expanding," James explained. "We're building a dedicated science center for underserved children. The board voted to name it after both of us." Maya stared at the brochure in shock. "After me. Why?" "Because you inspired it," James said simply. "Your work with the children showed us what was possible." Tears filled Maya's eyes. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll help design the programs," James suggested. "We want to reach more children like the ones you've been teaching." "Of course I will," Maya promised. James took her hand. "There's something else I wanted to ask you." He looked nervous suddenly, which was unusual for him. "Ethan and I have been talking. We both care about you very much," and he paused, took a deep breath, and continued. "Would you consider moving in with us, becoming a family?" Maya felt her heart race. She had grown to love both James and Ethan over the past year, but she hadn't expected this. "I'm not asking for marriage yet," James added quickly. "Just for us to take the next step. Ethan asks about you every day when you're not here." "And what about you?" Maya asked softly. James smiled. "I miss you too, more than I thought possible." Before Maya could answer, Ethan appeared in his pajamas. "Did you ask her, Dad? Is Maya going to live with us?" James laughed. "I was just asking her, buddy." Ethan looked at Maya with hopeful eyes. "Please say yes. I want you to be here all the time." Looking at them both, Maya felt a sense of belonging she had never experienced before. From a homeless woman in the park to this moment, her journey had been incredible. "Yes," she said finally. "I'd love to be part of your family." Ethan cheered and hugged her tight. James joined the hug, wrapping his arms around both of them. Later that night, as James drove Maya home, they talked about the future. Maya would move in next month, after the school year ended. They would spend the summer working on the new science center together. "I never thought my life could change so completely," Maya said as they pulled up to her apartment. "From that bench in the park to here." James took her hand. "Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best changes. If Ethan hadn't wandered away that day. If Jessica hadn't accused me," Maya added. "If I hadn't shown up in that ridiculous car," James smiled. Maya laughed. That car did make quite an entrance. As she got out of the car, Maya looked up at the stars. She thought about the woman she had been a year ago, and the woman she was now. Different in so many ways, but the same in what mattered most. Her love for teaching, her kindness, her strength. "See you tomorrow," James said. "Tomorrow," Maya agreed, her heart full of gratitude and hope. "I'm not asking for marriage yet," James added quickly. "Just for us to take the next step. Ethan asks about you every day when you're not here." "And what about you?" Maya asked softly. James smiled. "I miss you too, more than I thought possible." Before Maya could answer, Ethan appeared in his pajamas. "Did you ask her, Dad? Is Maya going to live with us?" James laughed. "I was just asking her, buddy." Ethan looked at Maya with hopeful eyes. "Please say yes. I want you to be here all the time." Looking at them both, Maya felt a sense of belonging she had never experienced before. From a homeless woman in the park to this moment, her journey had been incredible. "Yes," she said finally. "I'd love to be part of your family." Ethan cheered and hugged her tight. James joined the hug, wrapping his arms around both of them. Later that night, as James drove Maya home, they talked about the future. Maya would move in next month, after the school year ended. They would spend the summer working on the new science center together. "I never thought my life could change so completely," Maya said as they pulled up to her apartment. From that bench in the park to here. James took her hand. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best changes. If Ethan hadn't wandered away that day. If Jessica hadn't accused me, Maya added. If I hadn't shown up in that ridiculous car. James smiled. Maya laughed. That car did make quite an entrance. As she got out of the car, Maya looked up at the stars. She thought about the woman she had been a year ago, and the woman she was now. Different in so many ways, but the same in what mattered most. Her love for teaching, her kindness, her strength. See you tomorrow, James said. Tomorrow, Maya agreed, her heart full of gratitude and hope. 5 years later, Maya stood on the stage of the city's largest hotel ballroom. Cameras flashed as the mayor handed her a crystal award shaped like a star. It is my honor to present this year's Excellence in Education Award to Ms. Maya Johnson, the mayor announced. Her work with the Johnson Richardson Science Center has transformed science education in our city. The audience applauded loudly as Maya accepted the award. She spotted James and Ethan in the front row, both looking proud. Thank you, Maya said into the microphone. This award belongs to everyone who believed in second chances. She looked at the audience full of teachers, students, and supporters. 5 years ago, I was homeless. I had lost everything. Then one day in the park, a little boy wanted to feed birds with me. People smiled as Maya continued her story. Many had heard it before. It had even been featured in a national magazine. That chance meeting changed my life, Maya said. It taught me that we never know which moment might be the turning point, which kindness might save someone. After her speech, Maya made her way through the crowd, accepting congratulations from well-wishers. Finally, she reached James and Ethan. You were amazing, James said, kissing her cheek. The gold wedding band on his finger caught the light. They had been married for 3 years now. You didn't tell the part about Dad's car, Ethan said with a grin. Now 12 years old, he was tall for his age and still loved science. That's everyone's favorite part, Maya laughed. The Johnson Richardson Science Center was now famous across the country. Schools sent teachers there to learn Maya's methods. Children from poor neighborhoods discovered their love for science in its colorful classrooms. The center had even started a special program to help homeless adults go back to school and find jobs. Maya personally mentored many of them, sharing her own story to give them hope. As they left the award ceremony, a young reporter approached Maya. Ms. Johnson, can I ask you one question for our newspaper? Of course, Maya smiled. What's your advice for people who have hit rock bottom? Maya thought for a moment. Remember that your story isn't over yet. The worst chapter can be followed by the best one. Later that night, Maya, James, and Ethan walked through Central Park. It was a family tradition to visit the park on special days. They stopped at the bench where it had all begun. Maya sat down and touched the worn wood. It feels like another lifetime, she said quietly. Ethan sat beside her. Do you think you'd recognize me if I came up to you now? Maya put her arm around his shoulders. I'd recognize your kind heart anywhere. James joined them on the bench. This is where our family started. 5 years ago, Maya had been alone in the world. Now she had a husband who loved her, a son who adored her, and work that fulfilled her. She had traveled from homeless to happiness because of one moment, one meeting that changed everything. Should we feed the birds? Ethan asked, pulling a small bag of seeds from his pocket. Even at 12, he never forgot their special connection. Always, Maya smiled. They scattered the seeds on the ground. Soon, pigeons gathered around them, just as they had 5 years ago. A young woman sitting on another bench watched them curiously. She wore worn clothes and looked tired, much as Maya had once looked. Maya noticed her and, after a moment's thought, walked over to her. Would you like to join us? We have plenty of seeds. The woman hesitated, then nodded. Thank you. As she joined their small circle, Maya introduced herself and her family. The woman's name was Rachel. She had lost her job 2 months ago and was struggling to find another. I used to be a computer programmer, Rachel explained. Really? James said, his interest piqued. The Science Center is looking for someone to teach coding classes. Rachel looked up, surprised. Are you serious? Very serious, Maya said. We believe in second chances. As the sun began to set, they invited Rachel to dinner to discuss the position. The four of them walked out of the park together, leaving the bench behind. The same bench where Maya had once sat alone. The same bench where a little boy had asked to feed birds with her. The same bench where accusations had been made and a Lamborghini had changed everything. Life could change in an instant, sometimes for the worse, but sometimes, if you were lucky, if you were brave, if someone believed in you, it changed for the better. And sometimes, the most beautiful part of the story was being able to pass that chance on to someone else. Is that your car? Rachel asked as they approached a sleek black Lamborghini parked at the curb. James grinned. Special occasions only. As they drove away, Maya looked back at the park one last time. She said a silent thank you to the bench, the birds, and all the twists of fate that had brought her here. To this family, to this life, to this perfect happy ending that had once seemed impossible. But then again, the best stories often began when hope seemed lost, when a homeless black woman was accused of kidnapping a white boy, until a Lamborghini pulled up.